It's Queenie. It's Queenie. It's Ellen. It's Ellen. It's the Queenie and Ellen show. It's the Queenie and Ellen show. Da 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 da.
Welcome, everyone. This is Queenie with Ellen and Queenie's Book Talk show. Take one. Miss Ellen, go ahead.
Hello, and I am Ellen Sutter, ESP Book Chat, as well as ESP Presents. I am your literary planner.
All right, guys. Today we are doing our Black History Month segment. This is Black History Month, and today we are doing 2 poems, and we are interpreting them from our perspective. The first point is, I'm not ready, Grandma's Hands and Hey Black Child. First, I'm going to read it. No, we're going to play it first, and then I'll read it.
And you have no rights to this.
All right, that was Grandma's Hands, the instrumental. Now I'm going to read the poem, and then, like I said, we're going to take each stanza and literally just dissect it. Grandma's Hands. Clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played a tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She would say, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in that grass. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands smoothed a local unwed mother. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hands used to lift her face and tell her, she'll say, baby, Grandma understands that you really love that man. Put it in Jesus' hands, Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hands picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hands, boy, they really come in handy. She would say, Maddie, don't you whoop that boy. What you want to spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have Grandma anymore. If I get to heaven, I'll look for Grandma's hands.
Woo.
No, I'm not going to sing it, y'all. I tried to keep the rhythm, but I didn't do it. So, all right, Miss Ellen, you got yours up? You got the poem in front of you?
I have it right in front of me.
Okay, you want to go ahead and reread the first verse, the first stanza, excuse me, and then
you'll do the second one. Okay, with the grandma's hand, of course we know this is an old, wonderful piece here. And when I looked at that hand, I noticed when they said grandma's hand, they wanted us to take note of this very valuable hand, which is grandma's hand. That's what I have for the first stanza. What you have?
You're not going to break it down?
And that's what I have for the first line by line, stanza by stanza.
No, we're going to do just stanza. We're going to do the whole stanza at one time.
Oh, I didn't want to do that because this piece is too good to do that.
Well, I'm sorry, but Okay. I can't. Well,
Just go from the hands and what you get from the hands, because this piece is very valuable.
I'm thinking when he says "grow my hands," that he's talking about "grow my hands" symbolizes she has raised everybody, she has cooked, cleaned, she has served everything with these hands. She loved with these hands. She punished with these hands. Grandma's hands.
Now I'm looking at the second stanza when it say, grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. So this is the way, I'm more of a sponge, and this is the way I wanted to soak in line by line. And when she talked about the hands on Sunday morning, these hands are used for praising the Lord. And then they talk about grandma's hand playing the tambourine. I'll just take those two, kind of came to me. And when they said plays the tambourine, her hand was also soothing, and it was very instrumental in like praise and worship type. Her hands were very, like sentimental in praising.
Okay. What I took from it is that every grandma go to church every Sunday. I was reading it. I envisioned grandma sitting over there where the motherboard sit at over there on the on the left hand side of the church, playing that tambourine to the good old gospel hymn songs.
Love it. Now the next one, with grandma hands used to issue out warning. And so I just like you said, these are our both different interpretation of what we see and feel and pull. So out of this one, when he said grandma's hands issue out a warning, I can see grandma's hands, she was so stern that she really didn't have to spank with her hands. She just issue out a warning. Okay, now, baby. She was very careful with those hands. And you and I talked in another time that those hands, that's why some people might use a belt or something instead of that same hand they love, because if she gave spankings with those hands, not to say that she didn't, that same hand that she extend out, you would flinch, and they let you know, oh wow. So he said gave out warnings, and for me, she was just so stern that they just automatically flinch. But grandma said, okay, now baby, I can see that right there, saying that she gave not necessarily administrated spankings with the hands, but she didn't have to say much, but just give hand warnings.
Well, I said grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. Back in the day, I don't know if they do it now, but I try to do it with Jamal. You give him that look.
Yeah, that's what I see.
That's all it took, is that look.
That's all it took. That's all it took. That's all it took.
Then it says, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. And let me finish it up. Might be snakes there in that grass. Now, I'm envisioning this also. First, I was thinking he's running through the house. And that she got glass everywhere, like her wet knocks. He could be running through the house, playing, and bump into a table, and all the wet knocks fall on the floor, and that's the glass. But it said it might be snakes there in that grass. It may be who's outside running up and down, and somebody broke a bottle, and he might fall on it, and he out there playing with his friends. So his grandma saying those friends might be snakes. I don't know. Coming up with
now,
something.
see what I got from here too, just like you said, what I get from here, and you probably say, Ellen, how you get that? What I get from here is that at Mama's house, he may not have had that much freedom to run out and play like in that neighborhood. And then grandma might have had a more upkept neighborhood. This is just my mindset. But she may have had more traffic than he had. And he thought he could just run and run like he normally would wherever his mom lived.
Mm-hmm.
But she'd say, you got to be careful. So maybe in her neighborhood, since she's like the neighborhood, I see her to be a neighborhood mom. She know that there's sometimes, and she didn't judge any people that come by. There may have been prostitutes that came by. There may have been junkies or someone drinking, and she knows that that glass, and they probably picked it up because they know grandma too, but there may be fine pieces in that grass, that they may not see. So I think at grandma's house, there's a whole different feel, and that is a little bit safer than mom, but it's like probably more capped, but she still knows that there could be some traffic and different things out there in her yard. I think grandma's house was the fun house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and start on the second stanza?
Okay, grandma's hand soothed a local unwed mother. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. I noticed that she, when it came to and you'll see it a little bit further on, it appears in that stanza that she kind of lightly talked to the unwed mother because she put it on pause and she finished somewhere down the line when you read it and start talking back to the lady. It seems like that she just kind of gave it a pause and was listening to the unwed mother. Didn't say nothing with just being a sounding board. And, you know, she probably could have came home from work, you know, just sat there and gave her time, hands aching, but she was just a sounding board at this time. And you'll see that a little later. And I'm not saying you will see what I see, but that's what I see. I think she paused and listened and was being attentive. And then she gave some further instruction after that. What you see in that?
Okay, when it says she soothed a local unwed mother, again, I'm envisioning she's sitting on her porch.
Mm-hmm.
Unwed mother come down the street, and she can see that she's distraught. She's like, come on, baby, come on the porch.
Yeah.
Come on, talk to mama. And they have that discussion. She lets the local unwed mother pour out, vent, rant.
Yes.
She's just the listening ear for now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then, like you said, on pause.
Yeah.
And about used to ache sometimes and swells. She ached and she swelled because she did so much with them hands.
Mm-hmm.
There earlier, she cooked, she cleaned, she took care of her family, she took care of her job family.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of your hands do, they ache. She's getting older, so they're going to arthritis, and then they're going to swell.
Yeah.
Because of all the things she done did in her all her years.
Yeah. And then remember we pushed that pause button, and then she said, used to lift her face and tell her, remember grandma's hand used to lift her face and tell her, she said, baby, grandma understand that you really love this man. Put yourself in Jesus' hand, grandma's hands. So that to me, when I was talking about that pause, that she listened. She was the attentively listening. And grandma is probably someone you can listen to, the neighborhood could come by. She didn't judge her. She told her, I understand. Because grandma being there, grandma done went through some relationships. You know, back then they had the relationship. They go through a lot of stuff. And they tell you, baby, you know, like she told her. And this time she gently lifted her head and letting her know that I'm listening and that I'm there. And then let her know, you know, I know you really love this man. Not saying, because we always say, child, you better leave that man. You know what? She didn't give her no advice on leaving, She just said, I understand, because she knows that when you go through your little problems, you go up there and you get in the midst of it. You're trying to soothe that, telling her to pull apart. Next thing you know, you are hurting in your feelings, and she done went on with John. So grandma know how that plays. So she didn't even tell her that. She just say, I understand, because grandma been there, that you love this man. Just put it in the Lord's hand, you know. So I love how grandma, she was gentle even with unwed mothers. So she's a pinnacle in the neighborhood, very strong pillar, if you would. Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback off that. Used to raise her face and tell her. I'm thinking she was the local unwed mother was had her head down crying, and she said, "Hold that."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gave her let her know. Yep, she understands. She know where she coming from. It's okay, but just leave it in Jesus' hands, and He'll take care. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
What's done is done, and move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. She wants basically grandma just telling her, okay, you told me what's going on. You need to go get on your knees and pray about it.
Yes.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then let me go to the next one. Grandma's hands used to hand me a piece of candy.
Wait, go back to the boy. Grandma's hand. Boy, they really come in handy. She says, Mandy, don't you whip that boy. What you want to spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have grandma anymore.
Okay. Again, when she says, used to hand me a piece of candy, the first thing came to my mind was, and I'm thinking church again, trying to keep the kids quiet. She give them a piece of peppermint candy. Now be quiet, that I could to the pastor finish talking in church. Then it could be grandma walking around, cleaning, cooking, tending to the house, and she has a on. And in the pockets of her house coat, she got that peppermint candy.
Yes.
He been a good boy today. Here your piece of candy, boo. And about pick me up every time he was down, grandma was there to pick him up, whether it was work, school, whatever. She was there to lift him up.
And so now I'll piggyback, going back to what you were saying. We were talking about some time ago how back in the day, they don't have those grandmas like that anymore, because grandmas nowadays, they're probably about 30 years old. And back then, grandmas were like 50 plus when I was growing up. And I remember the grandmothers, they would have, like you say, some candy in church or a local neighborhood. They always had that good Christmas candy or that good peppermint candy. They pull it from their pocket. Sometimes you'll get lint and you just have to just take it off. Or grandma sitting there taking the lint off for you and giving it to you, cotton ball, whatever was in her pocket. And you see her doing that, and she, to let you know that she also was sweet to others. That's what I can see with that. And then he said, pick me up each time I fell. And that could be both ways. It could have been falling in his countenance or physically fail, you know. And then we'll go back over that, the next one. So with the boy, now we back at this part, the boy, they came in handy. Grandma's hand, boy, they came in handy. She says, Maddie, don't you whip that boy. What you want to spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have grandma anymore. See, we don't know that he don't have grandma anymore. And he's reminiscing on grandma. And you know how sometimes, and I don't know about you, but I've heard of people saying that the grandma was really their mama. Sometimes the mother was a teen mom. She was too young and didn't want to feel her child say mom to her. Therefore, she was never called mom. I've seen that happen where some mothers raised their children because it was so shameful back in the day. They raised their daughter's child to got to a point and then allowed them to call them mom as they got mature as they did. So with that, I'm starting to think that he is reminiscing and really didn't have that relationship with his mom, but grandma was everything. And he had something to hold on. There's no memories from this right here with his mom. It was always grandma that administrated the emotional part of him, the love, the maturity. I would even say, they say mothers can't teach you to become a man, and I really still believe that. But she put something, instilled something to him to be that man that he can look back and reflect on what all grandma did. And he said he wants to go, when he get to heaven, he wants to look for grandma's hands first.
Okay, she says Maddie. So I'm assuming that must be one of her daughters. Telling her, he didn't do nothing. What are you punishing him for? If he dropped the apple core, that's okay. He can go pick it up. Don't whoop him for every little thing. And then but I don't have grandma anymore. If I get to heaven, I'll look for grandma's hands. I'm saying grandma has gone on home to be with the Lord. And Billy is saying, I got to do right so I can see grandma again.
Yeah. The grandma was the everything. Like grandma, I hear that a lot from people like our age group, and they say, I remember my grandma, not necessarily saying mama, so grandma was there, it's that instrument, and she raised them, and she listened. She listened very well. And when he talked about, I want to go back a little bit when he said he didn't drop no apple core. Now, for me, I could see that there was something, maybe his mom was tired, single parent, work. And by the time she get off of work, those little bitty nitpick things, and sometimes it takes, there's a lot of things on her mind that even grandma knew that Maddie had a lot of things. That's why she pointed out to me, it was just the apple core. So there's a lot of things that probably triggered that some kind of relationship she came from, some kind of something that she didn't have closure with, that she took it out on the kids. And she may have took a lot of stuff, but then the small apple core releases all of the stuff and anger and stuff. Something simple as that on the floor. Those big old things she just let build up, and something small, that's what grandma was saying, that was very small. He didn't mean to do that. So grandma paid attention, because grandma know when he's crying, is that a cry that he needs to be, he's hungry, or is that a cry he need me, or does he need a hug? Because grandma gave him lots of hugs. Yeah, that's what I see right there.
Okay, Miss Ellen, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Well, no, this has been a great, great piece, and it's a very, I want to say antique, but I really don't want to use that word. It's really a nice, treasured piece that has been around for years, and I was a small kid. So I thank you for pulling out this right here, and those that are listening, that they can feel these pieces or get whatever they can out of those pieces and respond with those. So I really like this, and I'm looking forward to other ones. That's pretty much what I can just say with this.
Again, y'all, we was reading Grandma's Hands, and it's by Bill Withers. Withers, W-I-T-H-E-R-S.
Withers.
I found the song years ago, and when I read the article, he said it was about his grandma, Galloway. Mama Galloway, I think that's what Grandma Galloway, I think that's what he said. And he lived with Grandma in Slab Fort, Virginia. And I love the song. But I wanted me and my co-host, Miss Ellen, to talk about this poem. And if anybody got any other interpretations of the song, please leave it down in the comment section below.
Yes.
I would like to say, don't forget to hit the notification button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the red button. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and share this video. This is the Queenie and Ellen Booktalk show, and it's every Wednesday at noon. So y'all come back and see us next Wednesday. All right, we'll have another great show next Wednesday.
Thank you for watching, guys.
And again, happy Black History Month. And we'll see you next week. Happy
readings.
Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.